Okay, let's try again. I don't know what happened earlier. It said I had problems with my connection, which I never have. I'm live again and waiting for Enas from Decor by Enas to join me. So sorry that we're a little bit late. It's just the technology issues. You know how it is. Someone else tried to come on live with me. I don't know who that was, but it's only going to be Decor by Enas who I'm letting into the room now. And there she is. And there we go. Okay, hi everyone. Hi Neo. Hello, how are you today? Waiting for Date Enas to come and she should be on. Hey, there she is. Hi Enas. How are you, darling? You look
I'm good.
gorgeous.
How are you?
Hi, what's going on with the internet connection? Are you
I
guys?
have no idea. I'm not sure if it's me or I have
I
no
don't
idea.
know because mine suddenly crashed and then it came back on.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on because I think it's yeah, maybe a lot of people are live or a lot of people are on the internet.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
absolutely fabulous. How have you
So
been?
do you? How are you?
Thank you. How are you doing? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very well, thank you. Just
Good.
trying to keep busy and
I
everything.
know. I know it's really, really tricky in these difficult times. So yeah, thank you so much. I was like thinking, who can I ask? Enas? Like, of course, Enas. I will need to speak to Enas. So let's introduce yourself to the people who are my
Yeah.
followers and who don't know about you, and then I
Okay.
want to introduce myself to your followers so that we get a little bit of an idea of who we are and how we met.
So my name's Enas. I have a interior design company called Decor by Enas. I started my business about 4 years ago. So I'm still fairly new in the game, but I've been in the industry for quite some time.
Yes.
Um, I initially studied surface design, so it's more like hard surfaces for interiors and products, very similar to product design.
Yes.
Uh, but I kind of specialize in hard surfaces and things like that.
Okay.
And now I'm doing interior design.
It's amazing. So you have a company called Decor by Enas. It's been around for
Yeah.
about 4 years.
Yeah.
How and where did we meet, Enas? If you fill people in.
So I actually worked with Eva a, quite a while ago.
I think it was about 5 years ago. I had a big birthday. I'm not going to reveal how old I got back then, but I had a big birthday around the time when I had my last big birthday. So 5 years ago, I think you started working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I worked with Eva 5 years ago, which was, a great experience. I think I was in the company for about 2 years.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then after that, I decided to kind of go into more interior design direction.
Yeah. And
But
set up your own company.
yeah,
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 great. Yeah, and this was actually managing my studios. She was my studio manager for 2 years. We worked together. We traveled together. We've been to Paris several times together.
yes.
She goes with me. I dragged her out at night in Paris, and the next morning, 8 o'clock, we're gonna be at the show. So yeah, we worked together. It was a great experience. And I always like the fact that if you're working with someone, you have a good relationship, then you can take it from there. Because what I thought was really interesting is you worked for me and then we parted. And I think
Yeah.
about maybe a month or two later, I had a really big order from you for your first
Yes.
big project. Tell us
Yeah.
more about this project, which is an amazing story.
My first initial project that I did by myself, like alone, was actually a commercial project. It was designing one of the rooms at the VIP suite at the O2 Arena.
It's amazing. I mean, this is a great job.
So yeah, it was a super big project, my first ever one, and the clients that I had were really open to trying new things, and they were really open to color and print and pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, I obviously know your fabrics.
Inside out.
Exactly. So, what other better company or better person to order from? And they loved it. They loved like I think it was the fabric behind you actually, the cushion, the yellow one.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, I mean,
yeah,
behind me is the lampshade, but I think it's
the lampshade. Sorry,
yeah,
yes,
it's
that was
the
the
same
fabric.
yeah, the same. The Ojo, I think it was. Yeah, it was a yellow one, and it was amazing. Yes, I
Yeah,
think there's a little anecdote to the story because I remember you set up the suite and everything was nice and looked amazing.
yeah,
And I'm going to share this picture actually on Instagram after
yeah.
the talk so that you have a little bit of an idea what Enna Styles looks like. But I think also because then I think you contacted me like a year later. Someone stole the actual products.
Yes.
Oh, seriously.
So
This is I've never had that before. That's
yeah.
incredible.
So basically, I used her Eva's fabrics. I upholstered some bar seats.
Yes.
It was about 8 of or 5 of them, as well as two poofs to
Proofs,
kind of match.
yeah.
Yeah. So because you know it's the type of seat that you have to kind of just slide on and then you can take it off to wash.
Oh, you
Then
did loose cover. You did loose cover
yeah,
for the
we had
I see.
so with the O2 Arena, with the commercial space, everything that we have in there cannot be permanent. Like they have to be
Oh.
moved in case they want to upgrade or move rooms.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Okay, so it was a loose. So they stole the loose covers, not the whole thing.
Yes.
Because I was like, whoever has these loose covers out there, in case you're listening, what can I say? Just enjoy them. I know they're gorgeous.
Enjoy them. They're expensive, so enjoy them.
They are expensive, exactly. So enjoy them. I just thought it's a really, really interesting story because it was an amazing project. That's a new meaning for it. Be so good. They can't ignore your curtain stolen. Yeah. What can I do? What can I do? It's like this. But
Yeah.
The product looked amazing. It looked really, really.
And everyone loves the fabric so much that they actually turned that specific VIP room as like the showcase rooms now. So when people come in to kind of view the rooms, that's the first room that they've taken to.
That's fantastic. That's really good for you as well, and it's a really good marketing.
Yeah.
Because that was the first big project. So let's get into some questions. So we told you about how we've met. So you tell us about your shift from surface design, which you studied at uni, then you came to me work for textile design, which is again more on the surface design, and then you made your big jump to interior design. What was the motivation behind that?
To be honest, when I left the uni, which was years ago, when I left, I didn't necessarily have enough experience just then. So I did a lot of internships. I did a lot of internships before I actually worked with Eva. And majority of the internships were soft furnishing, which I actually loved a lot more. I love the
design, yeah.
I love, how you can kind of basically turn it into anything: cushions, poofs, lampshades, sofas, things like that. So I kind of fell in love with like the colors and the prints and the patterns. So I kind of focused a lot more in that direction.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more prints and color and patterns for interiors rather than fashion.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I feel the same.
Yeah. So, I then worked with Eva, which was great experience for me. And then especially, seeing how we did a lot of projects where it was for hotels and commercial spaces and things like that. So it was really interesting to see how, fabrics can really bring a room to life and transform space.
Yes. So that's and what is it you love about interior design? Because you could have done your own surface. I remember you working with glass in the beginning. What is it you love about interiors?
I just I love when I'm looking at interiors and things like that. I love looking at the befores and afters. I love the transformation and how you can literally just completely transform a room into something beautiful and elegant and pleasing to the eye. I think it's a little bit like fashion. We like to change clothes and change styles and experiment with new things. I feel like that's with interiors as well.
Yeah.
We can switch things around, bring new furniture, and just completely change the space. And I feel like with interiors, it kind of shows your personality a little bit.
I just want to say it really shows your personality to the
core. Yeah. Who you are. It says a lot about your taste, what you like, what you love, what you're into. So yeah, I think it, the same way as fashion kind of transcends into what you are and who you are. I feel like same with interiors.
I feel the same. I feel even a little bit more deeper than fashion, because I think some of the investments you make in interiors or the things that are there for maybe a longer term. Of course, the soft furnitures are all interchangeable, but some of I've got some curtains which I spent so much money on when I bought them that but they were going to stay there for the next 20 years. I've had them for 10 years now. The quality is still the same it was then when I bought them. They bring me joy every day. It's a long-term investment. So I think interiors is, for me, it's almost, I can't even express myself. I mean, you express yourself through fashion, but I feel like I can express myself through the way I live my interiors much more. And I think interiors say a lot about a person. If you come to a person's house, I look at how they live, because they can dress in a certain way. If I come to the house, okay, you can really see. And people have a lot of insecurities about interiors because they don't know how to set it up, style it. That's where you and me come in,
I think a lot of people are afraid to use color and,
Yeah,
pattern,
totally.
experiment, because obviously they know it's permanent. Once you do something, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, if it's done right, it really does change a space completely.
Totally. And it also changes your, I think it makes you happy, it brings joy to your life.
Yeah.
And I think you come home from work and you're really stressed, you come to a nicely designed space. It really, for me, it's so important that my surroundings represent me and give me the feeling that I need. And I have in my house, I have like literally every room has a different story. My bedroom is very calm and quiet.
Yeah.
As my living room is very vibrant. And then I can mix and match and choose where I want to go and where I want to be.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you love about your experience now working as an interior designer? What do you love about your job since you founded the company? What is
I
greatest
love
joy?
seeing clients' faces, to be honest. I love seeing their reaction, once you reveal the space.
Yeah.
It really does make everything worth it. It really does make the stress and, the anxiety worth it.
Coming to that in a second, yeah.
Yeah. I do love seeing their reactions and, because with a lot of clients, they want to change, they want to transform the space and everything like that. But they need the right person, the right push, to kind of change their environment. So I love seeing how happy they are after, and their reactions and things like that. I think that's my favorite part in interior design.
Yeah, someone said if it's permanent, but it's the right color and the right design, it's gold for the soul. Absolutely, that comes from L. Absolutely, I think it's gold for the soul. If you can make someone happy through relatively simple. I mean, it's not always simple, but it's a transformation in their home. That's amazing. What is driving you crazy about the industry? I mean, in a negative sense, because it's a tough job. I mean, let's face it, interior design. People think like, oh my gosh, I'm coming, I'm going to style someone's house, and I'm going to go. It's a very, very hard job. You need to have industry in-depth knowledge. You need to know what you're doing. What is the tough stuff about it? Tell us.
A lot of things, actually. It can be, something as simple as having the right contractor, having the right builder. I feel like if you have a good communication, have a good relationship with a builder, that can really help.
Absolutely.
If you have a builder that you not necessarily see eye to eye, or he just doesn't understand your vision, that can really, really strain, put a lot of strain on the project.
Yeah, absolutely.
So things like that. I think also things like, clients or people expecting you to come up with a design within a day.
Oh yeah, of course.
There's a lot of research that goes into interior design.
Exactly.
I would say it's 70% research.
Yeah.
When it comes to interiors. It's not necessarily the difficult part, but it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes, trying to kind of, make the client understand that, okay, it's going to take some time to achieve what you want to achieve. But I'd rather do something in good timing and, take my time with something to perfect it. What else?
What do you feel about, I mean, if a client comes and says, this is what I want to do. I went to a client before the lockdown came, and it's a really interesting project. I really liked the idea. And then they came up with this painting, which is like, we want to incorporate in the design. And I mean, it dropped dead because I was like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was really, really good. But they said it has so much sentimental value. They really wanted it in the design. It didn't fit with anything I was thinking about. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How have you had experiences like this before, where because clients, they come with a vision. They just can't translate that vision. That they want you to translate it, but then they have ideas which sometimes are really, really difficult to manage, because you think like, no. But
Yeah,
can't say no. You know what I mean?
it is difficult because at the end of the day, you're working for your client. You're there to serve your client.
That's the thing. Yeah.
However, you need to put it in a way where you kind of need to let them know, I'm here for a reason. This is, my expertise. This is my profession. It's a little bit difficult sometimes. You kind of have to compromise certain things.
Yeah.
So, for instance, with the painting, it might have to be put in a position where maybe it's not directly in your face.
Feature wall. They wanted it on the feature wall. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, we didn't feature more. Then lockdown came, and you know what, it's postponed. So maybe
Yeah.
the lockdown we can discuss and negotiate again. But
Yeah. And I think also, you know, instead of critiquing, sometimes we kind of have to come up with solutions as
yeah,
to why this may not necessarily work in your space.
yes,
However, X, Y, and Z does. Or maybe it might work here. You know, it is difficult. It's a difficult position. Um, but you kind of need to package it in a way where it's like, you know, you kind of agree with them. However,
yeah. I think
it's
you need to be very diplomatic. I think what I learned from doing interior design jobs is being extremely, because I have both sides. I have obviously my textile design, my textile design studio,
yeah,
also the interior design side. I think you have to be extremely diplomatic, and I think you need to almost apply a lot of psychology, because as you know, you came to, I think, to one of my client meetings. I spent hours with the client
yeah,
discussing, you know, life, their style, everything, really understanding them and seeing where they're coming from. And a lot of stuff comes out. Sometimes a lot of issues come out, a lot of fears come out, a lot of, you know, like stories which, you know, from their childhood come out, which, you know, kind of impacted them in their life, and they want that to be represented somehow. So I think
yeah,
a lot of diplomacy and psychology involved if you're working with clients. And you know, that's
yeah.
why I only do 2
I
projects.
mean,
Yeah.
you have to build a friendship,
Yeah.
you know, relationship with your clients.
Relationship. Yeah,
Because interiors, it's so personal,
exactly.
super personal. So I think you, like you said, you kind of need to understand why they want this specific
Yeah,
piece
yeah.
and figure out a way to compromise, I
So
guess.
totally different question. Would you ever employ, or would you ever work with an interior designer for yourself?
You know what? I would.
Would
I
you?
think, but it would have to be an interior designer that, you know, I love their work and things like that, or are similar to my kind of style. But the only reason I would ever do that is if, for instance, you know, I have a ton of projects that I'm currently working on and I need someone to do my home and I
Okay.
don't have time, then maybe that would be the only time that I would do that. But I think it's also interesting to see other designers' point of view and how, you know, if you have similar taste, you know, how would they change the space? I
Yeah.
think it's always good to kind of hear other designers' point of view and you know, other ideas as well. I think sometimes it could help, you know, with your
Okay.
space.
Two things. Should we put questions in the question area or here in the chat? Please put questions in the chat. We try to answer them whilst we're going along. And someone's giving, Anna's hair is giving me life. Me too. And I love your life. How did you manage to keep your hair like this during lockdown? I had to go back to brace because my hair before, no way. Hairdresser is closed.
I try my best.
Well done, girl. Well done, girl. So please put questions into the comment chat so we can literally pick them up as we go along. So for me, it's interesting because I would struggle working with an interior designer because I have such a distinct taste. But I
Yes.
think I would work with an architect, you know, work on planning, on a kind of structural development and something like this, but then put my own touch in it. Let's continue. So how do you go about acquiring new clients, and how do you manage to get seen by potential clients? What do you do in order to get seen? So let's quickly ask the question: have you ever done really good work and the client wasn't happy?
Um, Luckily enough, no. I haven't been in that position. Hopefully, I won't ever be in that position. But I mean, before it gets to the stage where the client, you know, the work is completed, the clients kind of know the ins and outs. You know, they know this is what's going to be achieved. They know these are the stuff that's going in the room, so they're well aware of everything. Obviously, there are occasions where a client would want to change the space, you know,
Yeah.
but um, that's not really from my side. That's more okay. The clients change their mind, then we'd have to do it again. But from start to finish, the client would kind of, you know, go through the process with me in terms of the construction or the renovation.
I had a problem, like I had an issue. It was a residential client, and we did some work, and it was the wife. She was always involved. It's something which I learned as well. So it was the wife. She was really involved in everything, and
Right.
you know, she loved everything, signed everything off. We installed everything. It looked beautiful. Then the husband came and said, like, you know what? I don't like this one piece in here. I don't like it. And she was like, yeah, but I do like it. And then there was a big going back and forth, and he's like, no, I really don't like it. So I learned from that to, consult everyone involved who lives in the States, because she was like, oh, no, I take care of it. But then his opinion was so strong. We changed it, and he was very happy in the end. And they, moved again. They commissioned me again to do their new apartment. But it was literally, I learned from that to, consult everyone. And even if that has nothing to say in inverted commas, he may still afterwards. So it's a big thing to reinstall something, take something out, take it back, and then find a new piece. So I think it's important to look at the whole.
I think it is difficult with families because everyone has their own opinions. You kind of have to, have a middle ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So again, how do you go about acquiring new clients, and how do you manage to get seen by potential clients? What do you do? What's your marketing?
Do you know what? Social media plays a huge part.
That's it these days, isn't it?
It plays a huge part. Most of my clients have come from social media or word of mouth, but mainly social media. Yeah, it definitely plays a huge part. Obviously trying to have as much content as you possibly can, to be consistent with your content as well.
I think it's super important.
Yeah, social media for me, especially Instagram, plays a huge part, I would say, because it's basically free advertisement. It's just advertising yourself constantly.
Yeah.
So I would say that for the time being, yeah.
I think social media is super important. I remember when you were here with me, Viva, also there's one platform I'm sure many don't know what it's called, House.
Yes,
about House. It's HOUSS. It's really important because it's a solely interior design, or like anything interior related platform, which is quite good to get seen because people look at it, clients look at it, interior designers look at it. I get seen there. You asked another question about plants. I'm just going to do a very quick one. Funny enough, I just have this book here. I'm not sure if you sort of Wild at Home by Hilton Carter. It's an amazing book. He is the plant guru. He's a plant interior designer. If you want to find out anything about plants, read that book. It's a funny question. You just asked it right now, but for me, this is like really my Bible when it comes to interiors. And I have some faux plants here in my office. They look lovely. Some people, my friend came and said like, oh, I've got hay fever. Your plants, can you move them? It's like, sweetheart, they're silk plants. So I think it's a mixture. But if you look into this book, but every time you change, it's time to manage it. How it's possible to charge all these changes? How do you I don't get this brand, but every time you change, it's time to manage it. How's possible to charge all these changes? How do you put boundaries? I don't get this question.
I think she means like if you've already created something, a room, and then the client decides to change their mind.
Okay, yes, of course. Yeah.
You have to charge, You
have to definitely charge. And also the importance of a contract comes in. You need to have a legal contract with your client, which, talks about what happens if changes come, how do you charge, and obviously get things ticked off ideally by everyone involved. But you need to have a contract which is bulletproof to protect you, and obviously as well to the client, not that you don't do the work, but which protects you and is signed off and dated by your client, so that you have a legal kind of a backup for yourself. Let's move in our question. Now let's move to the lovely topic of inclusion. I don't like the word inclusion, but the inclusion in the interior design industry here in the UK, and I think it's a global issue. What's your experience as a woman of African descent in the world of interiors
design?
Yes. What's your take?
It's I think you and I both know that it's a difficult industry.
Oh yes.
And unfortunately we're not as represented as much as we would like to be.
Not at all. Yeah.
It hasn't always been easy, but I don't know, it's a difficult subject. It's you kind of have to work twice as hard as the next person, and really, really, push your content and push your work, and make sure that as a designer you have a USP, something that only you have, that can't be replicated or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's super important as an interior designer, and as a Black interior designer. For me, it's always trying to kind of push my style and my brand, and how I like to design. Everyone has this unique way, the signature, I would say, when it comes to interiors. So I'm just trying to kind of push my signature as much as I possibly
Yeah,
can,
and that's really good.
and just yeah, just try and get out there as much as possible. But yeah, it hasn't always been easy. It hasn't always been easy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've got 10 years of experience now with the textile design brand as well as interior design. In the textile design system, we've been to Paris, we've been to the big trade shows. I used to be in a room called Ethnic, which is,
mm,
I don't know how many thousands of brands, and I mean, there's
yeah,
thousands of brands from, I mean, beautiful crafts from all over the world, high end. I mean, it's all high end design. And I'm most like, there's maybe not even a percent of Black owned businesses representing their brand. I'm always one of the few only ones who are in there, and not just in there. Some people come once and they don't come again, and who've been in there continuously for the past years. So I think the industry is incredibly one-sided. It's not
yeah,
just here in the UK. In the US, it's quite, there's called something called Black African American Designers Guild.
yeah,
They launched last year. So I think obviously they have a different standpoint with them, more people, but
yeah,
only for Black and African American interior designers. And there's a lot of support going on within this network. They also reached out to people outside of the US. I'm part of this network, which is fantastic because there is, things are done. The people in the US, they don't, joke around. They really work hard and do.
yeah,
The industry is not inclusive, I think, but I don't like the word inclusive per se, because including into what? I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing very well. We're doing very well. We're doing whatever we want to do. If we do our own thing. But I think it's still important to understand that it is a very, very, very tough and sometimes lonely road in this industry as
yeah.
a Black woman of African descent, of Caribbean descent, of whatever descent, to especially in the high-end sector of the market.
Yes,
Got so
yes.
many questions. How often do you feel like you have to deviate from your signature style? Do you find that often your clients have the same style preference based on your previous work, or is the case that they see, if you have an idea, you want to go with the flow? Interesting question. What do you think, Enas? Do you think people come to you for your style, or
I believe so. I think the clients that I've had in the past are very familiar with my style, or my usage of color and texture and things like that. So they already have an understanding. Whereas, for instance, new clients that may not necessarily follow me on Instagram or haven't seen my work, and let's just say, for instance, they're not as confident or as bold, and don't necessarily want to use a lot of color and things like that, I would still implement my signature some way.
yeah?
Kind of do it in small amounts, small doses.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of clients that don't necessarily want, you know, gold cushions or artwork or things like this. But I feel like there's ways that you can still kind of add your style and your signature, whether it's through texture or materials. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of figuring out how to add your signature.
Your value, your kind of
Yeah,
value to
yeah,
the
yeah,
dead. Okay, for me it's really different, because for me I'm solely textile design, mainly textile design. So people
yeah,
come to me for my designs, and then they come and say, I would like you to incorporate it into my home. And then
yeah,
obviously with a lot of other supplies, but the narrative is always the luxury high-end African. So for me it's quite good.
yeah,
Someone
yeah.
else asked an interesting question here. How do I scroll back? Can you go from interior design to textile design with only an interior design degree? I think you can. I haven't got a degree in textile design. I haven't got a background in textile design. I'm a journalist. I'm a TV and fashion journalist. That's my background. So I have no formal training in textile design, and I'm running a textile design company for 10
I
years.
think if you have the eye for it, then you have the eye for it.
Exactly.
That's something that can't really be trained. If you've got a great eye,
Yeah, exactly.
great style, then
Yeah.
then
Next question: what should someone starting out to do succeed? We're coming to that in a second. So if you give us a few minutes, we've got a few other questions which I want to ask first, but we're gonna come to that. So if you bear with us, please. Have you had any role models inspired, mentored, or helped you in your path as a design business owner for yourself?
I mean, you, for instance.
Oh gosh, I didn't I didn't ask this question.
No, but it's the truth. I mean, when I first started working with Eva, I was very new in the game. I was very new in the industry.
Yes.
And obviously, when you're first starting out, you still need to build your confidence. You need to kind of, you need experience. And I feel like, when I was working with you, you kind of really get to see the ins and out of running a luxury business.
Yeah.
The highs, the lows, the stress, and then obviously like, the success of it all. So I've been really grateful for things like that, after working with you and working with other showrooms or companies. I've been really lucky that I've had really strong managers or owners who have kind of guided me and helped me along the way. So yeah, I definitely had a lot of support and guidance, I would say.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to you. I think you need that. I think you need sometimes. It's difficult because sometimes it's very disencouraging, and for everyone, doesn't matter, where it's very disencouraging because to set up your own business is tough, to do your own stuff, and some of us are called to do it. I think you're called to do it. Not everyone, I think, is called to do it. Some people are friends and like, I've got my job, I'm really comfortable, I'm doing extremely well, I'm in the company, I'm moving up, I'm fine. I am not that type. I mean, I worked for businesses, but when I was a little kid, I knew I'm going to be my own boss. I need to have my own business. So I think it's important that we then have someone who guides us, because it can get really tough. I have people who guide me still at this day and age, where sometimes I just need someone where it's like, hey, I don't know how to handle this, I don't know how to do it. Good. Next question. What would your advice be to an aspiring interior designer, especially to an aspiring designer who's of African or Caribbean or any kind of Black descent, to get a foot into the door and start their own companies? What do you think is what your experience or your advice be for them?
I always say, before starting your own company, go out there and get experience.
Yeah.
Intern, work part-time, do whatever it takes to get in the industry that you want to get in. I feel like it's always good to make mistakes at other people's expense in terms of their own company. You can't, if you're starting out new, you can't really afford to make that many mistakes. Straight away. So I always say it's super, super important to get as much experience as you possibly can. Research, do your research. There's loads of places that do, internships that are design related.
I'm sure you will. I don't know, but if you have a program, I'm sure you would take an intern on as well for you. I don't know whether you take interns.
I mean, at the moment, it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, no,
but
nothing's going on.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely take an intern in. I think as soon as we're back to normal and things are running and it gets a little bit busy, I would love to take an intern. So yeah, I if you are going to start your own business, my advice is definitely to intern or get a job or something, just to get experience as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely agree. I think it's important, but I think it goes further. I mean, get the experience, but I always preach. I'm preachers. I like to preach.
Yeah.
You know what? You need to know the industry inside out. You need to know the terminology. You need to know the history. You need to know, get all the information you can, because this is going. This is going to be your bulletproof vest, where people can come and say, oh, what do you know? I know this, I know that. Go the extra mile. I think you need to really be prepared to know what. I used to work in fashion before, and I was a fashion journalist for German Elle. I had run the London office here, and I had a lot of girls that came like, oh, we love to work, we love to do an interview. They said, like, what do you love about fashion? Like, oh, we like shopping. And I was like, what else? And we love shopping, and what, I know what's in the stores, but they didn't have an understanding of the history of fashion. If I'm writing a fashion piece and I need to go into depth, and analyze a catwalk show, I need to know about silhouettes, I need to know about where it came from. And I think the same as with interiors, you really need to know.
You need to live in it, you need to breathe in it, you need to be surrounded by everything.
I know I've got a library here, and this is just the tiniest part of my library. I've got a library here, I've got a library in my house of books where you can find every Barcelona chair, the history, everything. So I think that's really important. And your passion, you have to have a passion for the subject. I could see you really had a passion, because I think the reason why you moved so quickly in setting up your company is that you really had a passion for interior design. That's what you really wanted to do. And I think that really makes or breaks someone. If someone is not 100% in it, it's going to be very
I
difficult.
know, because there's going to be times where you're going to
Oh,
feel
exactly.
unmotivated or stressed or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you love something, then, you know.
Exactly, exactly. I think that's really important. Okay, what can we as practicing, so I'm looking at my sheets here, what can we as practicing design professionals help to encourage others in us? What do you think we can do? Our responsibilities for people who are in the industry. What can we do to help to encourage others? Again, looking at the inclusion issue and looking at, people with an African and Caribbean background.
I think we just all really need to kind of stick together and help each other out. We just, yeah, it's, you just kind of need to be there for your other fellow interior designers, you know, whether it's needing a specific item or whether it's, you know, bringing them in onto talks or discussions or things like this. I think what we're doing now is a great way, you know, is a great way to kind of, um, you know, have these discussions. I think the more discussions we have about inclusion and you know, interior design and things like this, it really does help others that, you know, want to be in the industry or are coming up or things like that, to give them an idea of what to expect, and, you know, just also to make them feel that they're not alone in it as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important to know, to share our stories with
them. Share your story, share your journey, things like this, and, you know, help others, you know, to kind of see that they're not alone in it, that you've also struggled in it, and it's not all glitz and glam.
It's definitely not glitz and glam. Oh my God, I want to come back to you in a second. I think it's also be accessible. I really want to be, I know you're busy, I'm really busy, and I get so many emails, and sometimes I really can't get back, but I try to be as accessible as possible, that people can come and say, hey, you know, can you give me an insight? Can you tell me X, Y, Z? How did you do that? Where do I go about that? But I think also one thing that's really important, the thing I always had to do, I always had to figure out everything by myself. The reason why I think my company is so successful is that I have to figure things out by myself. And sometimes when you really go through all of that, oh my gosh, you've done it, you almost, it elevates your confidence. Then you know the next thing which will come, I can do it. At the moment, I'm doing something with my kind of client management system. Is all IT based. I really don't get it. But I sit there every day for about 3 hours, and I'm slowly getting there. I've nearly got it figured out, and I know I will feel so amazing once it's done. So sometimes you have to literally go through the tough stuff in order to come out like kind of empowered afterwards for yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because there are going to be lots of issues where you will be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tackle that? Next thing, let's talk about lockdown. Okay, I followed your amazing home, your balcony kind of update. I was like, oh my gosh. And that really inspired me. So now the first thing I want to quickly ask you, I've written it down here on the thing. There's this cool, I mean, you basically updated your balcony. With the living room, bathroom as well.
Yes, so it's literally been all DIY. I've always been super, you know, hands-on and creative, and, you know, can do things like that. So if, you know, you can click on my page, it's on my highlight, my balcony renovation. I wanted to tile the floor. I've never tiled.
Talk to you about that in a second, because like, hey, tiling, different story.
I've never tiled in my life. However, I did it an easy or like a cheating kind of way.
Stick that shit. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you're allowed to. I'm not sure whether you're allowed to swear on that. But tell me about that stick. That what's that? It's an adhesive.
It's an adhesive. That adhesive plus a hot glue gun.
What kind of normal hot glue gun?
Yeah, just a normal hot glue gun, you know, and literally I put those on the tile, put it down, hold it down for a little while, and then move on. And then you kind of leave it to dry for 24 hours. With that specific adhesive, it is, you know, waterproof and things like that, so it's fine for outside. So, you know, and luckily,
did you also cut the tiles? Do you have a tile cutter?
Luckily, the tiles that I had were, I think, 15 by 15.
Yes.
And they fit perfectly. So it didn't actually require me to cut that much.
Okay, therefore, like, how are you going to start tile cutting?
But I also, I bought a tile cutter.
I saw a tile cutter there. I was like, oops.
I bought a tile cutter.
Yeah.
And literally, I learned everything on YouTube.
That's the thing. that's one thing as well. I think just to bring that in quickly, as if you work as an interior designer, I mean, I don't know, I mean, when Anna's and me went to the shows, you know, like other designers have, you know, the trade show booth, they have like a team of builders. Not with
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna
we
have
did.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna buy the jacket, and we're gonna build. And you have to be able to drill, nail, whatever. The only thing I haven't done tiling yet. But after I seen you tiling, I was like, you know what? Stick
Yeah,
that and the hot glue gun. It's
yeah.
doable, isn't it? It looks.
And I use porcelain tiles, so they're
Okay.
resistance. There's like about 10 mil thick, I believe. Easy to cut. I didn't use like real stone or anything like that.
Much more difficult to cut, of course.
Yeah. So I just use that, and you know, it's very tiring and it's very painful, you know, but I'm super happy with it.
It's gorgeous, Anna's. I mean, please everyone have a look at Anna's Instagram page and look, it's so gorgeous. Now, bathroom, did you do the bathroom as well?
Yes, so I tiled, okay, the bathroom was tiled before lockdown. But I painted it, I painted the walls and things like that.
You didn't, you had someone tiling it for you?
Yes, that was done before, like way before lockdown, beginning of the year. And the living room was like white, so I painted the entire living room. I mean, you know, this kind of grey color, plus the ceilings and the skirting and everything. It took about a few days, but you know.
It looks gorgeous, and you know the outcome is. First of all, you can show it, you know, to everyone. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, my gosh, Anna, I mean, the balcony really is stunning, and the living room looks beautiful as well. So I think it's great to do these things, put them out there. Everyone, if you're doing something during lockdown, I mean, I've done my fireplace. We've repainted the fireplace. Yeah. I've done more kind of mirrors and stuff like this. But I think it's really nice to put it out there and show people. Someone asked quickly, did being a former journalist help you with getting press for your company, Eva? I don't think it helped me with getting press because I was in the fashion industry and I was in the interior industry, but I knew how to approach press. So yes, it helped me in terms of I know up to now I know exactly what journalists want, how to communicate with them, how to write a press release, how to liaise with them. So yes, it helped me with the approach. The contact I had to rebuild, so no, that's not, but I think if you know how to handle them, then that's cool. No, so anything else you're doing during lockdown? Anything else?
So I'm just waiting on a few more pieces for the living room, frames and things like that. And then that will be the living room done, maybe change a few cushions. I actually bought these really nice cushions from Asda. They were on sale. But something like this, for instance.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And they come with the inner. I think it was like £8 or something like that.
They're gorgeous. They're lovely.
And I bought this lamp as well. And a few things
I saw that. It's from Asda as well. I saw because I thought it only a thing like that.
So
it's lovely.
Just trying to change.
I didn't even know Asda had homeware. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, they actually have some really nice pieces.
It's lovely. It's stunning.
H&M Home, I love.
It's gorgeous. Good. H&M Home is gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah, there's also another company called Hunter and Co, which are really nice.
Okay, I don't even know about them.
So yeah, there's a few places that are really lovely. So I'm just, now that all the walls are grey, now I could, you know,
update and bring it. So let's have a look whether there's some more questions. I think there's some more questions. Oh gosh, there's so much more. What's the best way to get into interior design? University course, if so, what uni would you recommend? Also, do you need to be good at drawing? And lastly, do you have to be strong at math? Very good question, that is. And go ahead with it. So what's the best way?
Math is my strongest subject.
Yeah.
However, you do need to have an understanding of, you know, square meters and meters and things like that. So you kind of need to know the basics. If you do want to go to university and study interior design, that's great. You know, you can do that. There are also courses. I know Evie, you're doing a course.
No, I'm doing a course. We talk about it in a minute. I'm doing a business course for aspiring, you know, creative business owners. But I think that I did a course at KLC in Chelsea, so that was really good. But it's a big debate. Do you need to have a university degree? I think if you want, I don't know. You don't have a university degree in interior design? You have one in surface design.
Yes. It is, like you said, it is a bit of a debate. It's one of those things where you can be, I mean, I was listening to Martin Bullard's Insta Live,
Yeah.
And he was saying that, you know, he's one of the most incredible
Well-known
interior
interior designer.
designers there are in the
British
world.
guy who's based in the US, he's based in LA.
Yeah. And he actually started out as being an actor, you know,
Yeah,
being an extra.
I know he started as an actor too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he, you know, he didn't have interior design and things, but again, he had the eye for it, he had the style, and it was also luck, you know. Um,
You think it's
being
lack of determination and hard work and being at the right time in the right place and really pushing it.
yeah,
I don't think you need a degree, but I think you need to be you need to I think you need to get the basic
yeah,
understanding of the industry, the terminology, how it works. You need to have the eye for it. I've got friends of mine who a friend of mine, she has a big interior design company in Notting Hill. She has
mm,
she has a degree in marketing or something like this, and she does, I mean,
yeah.
everything. She's got the eye for it, absolutely. I mean, she has the
I
eye.
think if you have the eye for it, the passion and the love for it, I don't necessarily think you need a degree, but I would recommend doing courses at least.
Yeah, interior design. Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing of the interior design, interior architecture. I think it's also really important to distinguish between interior design, interior decoration, and interior architecture. Yeah, I'm not an
Yeah,
interior architect. I have no idea about structural planning and, you know, like, I mean, these things. Because one of my clients asked me, um, you know, we want to do some structural work. Can you come in and project manage that work? I feel like I personally won't, but I can get someone in, so I can subcontract someone. So I think it's really important to be distinguished between, you know, if you're interested in it, start with maybe as an interior decorator, where you just, you know, enhance a room, you know,
yeah,
put the touches in, and then, you know, go deeper. You go into interior design, where you know, work a little bit more structured and more detail.
yeah,
And, you know, if you want to be an interior architect, I think you definitely need a degree, because it's
yeah,
a job. I think interior is more about decoration, interior is more about renovation. Yes, that's what it basically comes to. um, how do you get an interior design placement as a second year student? You need to go out there, you know, I think you need to really know which interior design company speaks to you, to your style, you know, obviously, which is also local in your local area, and approach them, you know what I mean? But you have to be prepared to send out a lot of CVs for potential
yes,
unpaid internships. But I think you need to not just write a CV, dear sir and madam, I would like to do an internship at your company. You need to really understand of what is their USP, what makes them different, who's their owner, who do I write to, so that when you write to them, that you wow them. Because if you get if I get a application, dear sir or madam, they don't. I'm Eva Schmeike. You know what? Please address it to me. So I think you need to be really clear on what they're doing, what makes them different,
yeah,
highlight that in your application, and say, I would like to work for you because I like this and because I am passionate about that, what you reflect in your company. So I think
yeah,
that's the way, but you just need to get out there and apply, basically.
yeah.
Do we still have time? You know, I forgot to take someone. Do we need to have a strong portfolio? How much time do you have left?
I think we have about 10 minutes or so.
Okay, cool. Let's quickly get into some more questions. Thank you so much for sending in the question. So one last question: what's the future plan for Decor by Nas? What do you want to do? What's this like?
To have a lot more clients.
Yes.
um, yeah, clients, expanding the business a lot more. Hopefully, you know, in the future, I would love to take on people as well, not just interns, but you know,
Okay.
has some kind of, you know, running the showroom or having a showroom of my own.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think that's, you know, the main focus, I
Yeah,
would say.
please record saves. I will try again. Last week, you know what happened? I recorded it. I tried to save it and it went, but you know what? I saved it on MP3, blah, blah, blah. I've got the audio and video and I have it now at my Dropbox. It's about 4 MB big. So I'm trying my best to save it this week. I'm so sorry. I will sort it all out and I'll put it on YouTube eventually. Let's quickly get into some questions for the people. Yes, from my point of view, my future scale the business, continue doing what we're doing 2 to 3 projects a year. I don't think I'll do more interior design, and otherwise, you know, work with big interior design firms and wholesalers all over the world to sell our beautiful products. But I'm also launching a course. It's going to start next week. I've already got quite a few people signed up. So if you're interested in how to run a creative design business, I have a very structured approach, which I've applied over the past 10 years, which actually I think brought us to where we are right now. I think Enas knows very much about my structured approach. So I've got a course. If you're interested, DM me and I'll send you the information. Okay, let's quickly go into some questions. Shakira, what software and skills do you need as an interior designer? Enas, over to you. What software?
So the software that I use is Photoshop. I use the basic, which is Photoshop. I've always said that, if you cannot necessarily use 3D, as much as you would like to, or you don't necessarily have the ability, anything like this, it's always a good idea to outsource. It
Yeah.
saves time, it saves, money and energy and all of this. I know there are a few things like AutoCAD. There's another company or software called Home by Me as well.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think I've seen that. You can do room renders, etc.
Yeah. You've got SketchUp, things like this. If you can do a course in it, I really do recommend trying to do that.
Yeah, there's also the other software. I mean, I use Photoshop, mainly Photoshop as well. But I think there's another. I use the Morpheo for the mood boards. Have you seen them?
Yes, yeah.
They're really amazing. And I use, that's what I use. I mainly use Photoshop. And skills in us. I think we discussed the skills. Let's move on. I think we already discussed the skills. I hope you got the answer for that. Jane, how do you stand out as a young Black designer? I'm 18. I'm trying to make a name for myself. I really like this question, because if you're 18, you're trying to make a name for yourself, and you already know that you need to stand out, as already half your rent. I think that's amazing. So thank you for that question. Over to you, Enes. What do you think you need to know as a young, aspiring interior designer who wants to make a name for themselves? 3 things. Keep it quick.
I mean, it's a good idea. It's great that you're starting from now. You're young. You literally have years ahead of you.
Yeah.
Figure out what your style is, perfect it. Figure out what your signature is and what kind of separates you from other designers. Live, eat, breathe interior design.
Totally.
Do your research as much as you possibly can. In the industry, and just kind of perfect your skill.
Yeah.
Perfect your skill, perfect your signature, your look, your style, and just do your research as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. And I think also mingle and network. See where your other interior designers hang out, and hang out there. Try to go to design Chelsea Harbour, to the design center if there's like an open day, when they have the open days.
Yeah.
You don't have to go on an open day, you can go on any day, but go there, go to the showrooms, get yourself some samples, look at what's out there, create mood boards, use social media to show what you've done, breathe it. But I think it's literally, you need to be there where everyone else is. Do you recommend Home by Me? And I don't know, I haven't used it.
I think Home by Me is great because it's
I just quickly step away. Just 1 second. I just want to quickly check something. You go on. I just want to quickly check.
I think Home by Me is great because it's beginner friendly. You just kind of need to figure out how to work it and play around with it as much as possible. But I do recommend using Home by Me.
So I'm back. It's someone asked about the mood board. Is it it's Morpheo, isn't it? Morphilo? The mood board? It's Morphilo, MOR, the mood board. I put it in the, can you DM me? I sent you the link. It's an amazing mood board software with platform. I don't know, it's a software platform. I use it for all my mood boards. I use it for the mood boards we put out there. So if you it's Live, I think it's Live. If you want to send me a quick DM after, I'll send you the link to it. It's a really, really great software. I just don't even know what it's called. Morphilo, I don't know whether you pronounce it like this. It's really great. Next question. I'd love to know how you started interior designing, if you have had any qualifications before. I think we discussed that as well. Enas has a background in surface design. I have a journalism and then fashion journalism background. So we're obviously not I've done several short courses at KLC, where I have different kind of qualifications in interior design from them, but they were literally like 1 month courses or something, like quite short. When would you recommend quitting your job and focus on design practice full time? That's a very, very, very.
I think once it gets to the position where it's a super big project and I require myself and a team of other people. I'm not there yet, but as soon as it does get to that stage, then yeah.
But what comes afterwards? Because I think I think it's a really difficult question. I think you really need to weigh up where you are personally. Have you got, like either savings, or have you got, live with your family or with your partner or everyone, where you say, okay, it will, like even if, for the next 2 months, nothing will come in, I'm still 2 months longer than I think.
You need to assess your.
It's a really difficult question to weigh up, because I think it's literally, I quit my job after I was in the business for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was the best decision I've ever made. But I had the security back behind me. There were times which I definitely needed. There were some times when I was like literally nothing was coming in. Not nothing was coming in. There was always something coming in, but not enough coming in. Then there are times when it's just like, hey, like,
you just have to have security and be able to assess. Okay, if I don't have,
I think you need to assess that. Someone said, I'm studying fashion business in my last year. I really want to get into interior designing. Then do it. You know what? Yeah. It's easier. It is if you're in fashion, you have already an understanding of, what similar industries like. And if you're doing business specifically, you also have like a business acumen. Do it. Just do it. Don't everything we discussed about, really inform yourself about the and then go ahead. What are the best channels to showcase your interior design work?
One of the best times?
Channels. What are the best channels? I think I discussed that. But go ahead again.
Instagram, number 1.
100%. Yeah.
Pinterest, House.
Yeah.
And your website. Make sure you have a website.
Exactly. I think that's what I would say. I think your website is super important. Instagram, Pinterest, and House. I think these are the most.
Just update them all. Make sure they're all up.
Yeah. There's also something called ePorter, but it's not really for. That's more if you're sourcing as an interior designer. A lot of interior design source on there. That's more for if you have a textile design company. Make sure you're in ePorter as well. But otherwise, I think these are the foremost. I used to remember when you were working for me, we were doing Twitter planning for a month or something like this. Enas, Twitter, I literally stopped doing. Enas is loading up at the moment. I hope she's still live. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Eva, when do you make time to make designs? To design is I don't know, your program in certain times this year. Do you just launch that? Work very strategically. I launched my. Oops, Enas is gone. Are we finished? No, Enas is gone. I'm sorry. Maybe she will join again. If you're still around, Enas, please join me again. So I work with strategically, the obviously autumn, winter, and spring, summer seasons when you launch new designs. So I always try to, sit in with one of these seasons. The next collection was supposed to actually come out for spring, summer, but now due to the fact that we're locked down, I'm postponing it for autumn, winter. Unfortunately, designing is the smallest part of my business. Enas is back. She's coming back in. Yeah, no, we're not done for the hour yet. You normally get like a countdown, so we still have a few minutes. So yeah, but I design strategically. Designing takes, unfortunately, 10% of my business. The rest is admin, work, sales, marketing.
I'm sorry about that. I have no idea what.
The internet is funny today. I think, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But I think we've almost discussed. Do you prefer textile design? As a question for me, do you prefer textile design or interior design work, and how do you combine the two? I prefer my textile design business. I think I like interior design work, but I find sometimes clients are a little bit tricky. And I then prefer to, I like both, but I think I like the combination. But I am very picky with my projects. I don't do more than 2 to 3 projects a year, and some of them are big. I've got a big project now, it's a residential. It's a big chunky project, so it will take me several months to do. And that's fine for me. I like the combination of both. I believe in having different income streams in your business, which part of my business experience. So I kind of like to diversify, but my main job is my textile design. Last question to finish. We've got about a minute remaining now. To finish on a positive note, how do you feel about your business and what you've achieved over the last years as a person? And just give it to us. How do you feel about everything where you are right now?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So how
the connection's a little bit.
How do you feel about your business and what you have achieved over the last years in terms of your business, your design company? How do you feel about that?
I'm really grateful and happy as to where I am right now. with having, I think having the O2 as one of
2 seconds
my
remaining in
first projects for me was like a big deal.
Yeah.
I would say also, you know, I completed a few rooms in a beautiful mansion last year as well.
Amazing.
So yeah,
30
things like
seconds
that, you know,
remaining.
being in a magazine, Red Magazine, which is really
Yeah.
great, doing a few talks here and there. So yeah, hopefully I would love to do more of that. But for now, I think that's for me, you know, what I've achieved so far is
It's been great.
I'm really.
Let me thank you very quickly because we're running out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. No, thank you for being on there. It's been great. I hope that all of you will follow Enas and, you know, have a little bit of inspiration. I'm trying to save this right now. Please cross your fingers that I can save it and
Okay.
you know, not mess it up again. Have a lovely rest of the day, everyone.
You too.
And
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.